Good morning. My name is Scott Haywood. I'm here with Clark Smythe, and we wanted to talk a little bit today about leaders. In our last installment, we talked about how to build a better permit leader, and after that, we got some questions about knots, and we thought it would be a great idea to just sort of walk through a leader setup all the way from the fly line to the fly. So we're going to start here with a fly line. You go by a fly line. And most of the fly lines now come with a welded loop. And the first thing I think we need to deal with is whether or not you trust this loop.
I would recommend for a basic leader setup for your basic flat species, bonefish, small tarpon, snook, that the welded loops on every manufactured fly line are very trustworthy. As soon as you start talking about big game fishes, the pelagics, the giant tarpon, giant trevally, then I think we would want to reevaluate that and find another way to attach our leader to our fly line, whether we weld our own loop or investigate the multitude of other knots available.
Right, so we're talking about bonefish, permit, and baby tarpon here. And when you buy this new fly line, you're probably also going to buy a tapered leader. And these come also usually with a pre-tied loop. It's often a perfection loop. I like to attach then a butt section, which we talked about in the previous installment of these hints.
Right, here I have a spool of 60-pound tippet. This is fluorocarbon tippet. One thing we would want to caution is attaching fluorocarbon tippet to nylon leader or vice versa. That can jeopardize the strength of your knots. This butt end will provide really three major improvements to your leader. One, it makes your leader longer, therefore more stealthy. Two, it will transfer the energy from your cast down the fly line through the leader to present the fly more effectively and really turn over your cast. And three, it'll protect the integrity of a $12 fluorocarbon leader. Once you have that butt end affixed, like we mentioned, a perfection loop to your fly line, then you have a couple of options to connect your leader. You can either cut the perfection loop off of the end of a manufactured tapered leader, and we recommend a blood knot or even a double surgeon's knot. At this bulky juncture, like a 60-pound to maybe 50-pound butt end of a leader, I would recommend a blood knot. It's going to be the most fusiform, it's going to be very strong, and not get in the way and still transfer that energy down your leader effectively. So once you have that butt end, you add the leader, whether it's a loop-to-loop on the end of the butt end to the loop-to-loop on the leader or a blood knot. Then as we walk out, we recommend adding tippet, particularly if you're changing flies a lot so you don't chop up your leader and make it too short. And when adding tippet, we think that both a double surgeon's knot or a blood knot are about equally strong. They're likely not stronger at this connection. However, these seem to be the quickest and easiest in haste or in the wind or when you're standing in waist deep water. However that may be, we think a blood knot and a double surgeon's knot is a good way to add tippet.
And I'll add that a double surgeon's is much quicker probably for most people than a blood knot.
Yes, is correct. Both good options in a kind of a general flats leader setup. Then we wanted to talk about how you attach your fly to your either end of your leader or your tippet. And a lot of schools of thought tend to lean toward having a loop knot there. That loop knot gives that fly not only action when you strip it, but a kind of side-to-side option presenting more naturally. However, in certain circumstances, that loop-to-loop knot can be a disadvantage, particularly when you're fishing a fly on the bottom. Think bonefish, think permit. And when you're fishing that fly on the bottom in turtle grass, that loop can grab turtle grass, pull the grass, spook the fish. Additionally, both of those fish, when they're feeding visually, a loop knot may not be sneaky enough. It can be a bulky, you got two tippet materials coming together. It may, the guys may be up or the ruse may be up. And so these were just some thoughts we had on some simple flats leader setups and the kind of bare minimum knots you may want to know. Just to review, a perfection loop, whether that's to connect your leader to your butt end or your butt end to your fly line or both, a blood knot or a surgeon's knot to connect your leader to the butt end, and or tippet to the tip of your leader, and then either a improved clinch knot, a clinch knot, or some form of a loop knot. I prefer a perfection loop when I'm tying a loop knot to the fly. It's substantially stronger than most loop knots, but any non-slip loop knot, a lefty cray knot, a Rapala knot, all get the job done.
So those are the 4 knots that you got to have. Those are the essential knots. And thank you for joining us, and we'll answer questions and do other videos soon. So keep your comments coming. Thank you.
All right, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.